Hello everyone, and now welcome to game 2 in a series between Slivko versus LG's I Am MVP. And curious map as Slivko won game 1, and now LG's I Am MVP choosing Ohana. Ohana normally a Zerg favored map, as there are some easy bases and also multiple ways to get into your opponent's base. Very fast movement speed. Zerglings out on these open fields are very effective at simply coming in and ransacking an opponent's base, even if you have an army moved out about halfway across the map of Marines and Marauders. If your opponent has creep spread, the Zerglings can simply just circumnavigate around that army, come down here, and then get inside your base before you have any reinforcements or before you realized what was happening. Slivko spawning as the the blue Zerg, not colorblind, blue Zerg on the bottom right hand side of the map. LG's I Am MVP spawning as the red Terran on the top left hand side of the map. And we'll see what the strategies will be. Looks like Slivko gonna be doing an early drone scout this time around, wanting to make sure there aren't any cheese antics. Very standard play, wanting to make sure that there isn't any cheese antics. MVP looks like he's going into his standard command center first against Zerg, saying, you know what, Zerg, if you're going to take an early base, I'm going to take an early base as well. Now, early bases are very strong. The only problem is going to be Slivko needs to take down these destructible rocks, and in a hurry. If he doesn't take down those destructible rocks in a hurry, he's going to be in a little bit of pain, as the SCV and the drone are now battling it out. Who wins in a fight? I gotta say the drone does now, as the drone does have natural regeneration, already back up to 28 hit points. Meanwhile, this poor SCV is still at 35 and going to stay that way until he can somehow repair himself or call a brother over to do it. Drone now coming in from Slivko, and this will be that third base that I was talking about. Now, the issue here is with the third base being placed down at the beyond the natural expansion and beyond these destructible rocks, it's rather difficult to try and transfer any units, especially when the hatchery was placed down before the spawning pool, I even believe. So what is that, a 15 second on the spawning pool? Yes, 33 seconds on that hatchery. So we're gonna have 2 hatcheries, almost 3 operational hatcheries before the spawning pool is even up and running for the Zerg. Slivko is still sitting at 20 over 20. We can see that there's one SCV working away at the hatchery down over here. What is MVP strategy going to be? It most likely will once again be reactor Hellions, as that was his weapon of choice last time around. The problem was that he didn't have a really strong follow-up, and he didn't really deal damage with his follow-up units of Marines, Marauders joining that Hellion push. Factory is already coming into play. You're going to see a second Marine now being added. There's going to be a little bit of time discrepancy between when that Marine pops out, when the reactor comes down, and then when that factory can take it over. Slivko training up 3 queens at a time, and really right now I feel that Slivko has the advantage. There's not much that MVP can really do. He's gonna have a factory up, but he's not gonna be able to train up any Hellions for a little bit of time until that reactor is done. He's just gonna simply lift off and land, and he only has 2 production buildings, and one of his production buildings is just building more infrastructure right now, so not really training up units either. Factory should be landing down here in just a moment, and as it finishes, reactor finishes, the factory is gonna double train up those Hellions. Now, taking a look into Slivko's base, he's still playing very defensive. He doesn't want to move out, and he knows that if he does move out, he'll most likely just get destroyed, and then that will be the first domino to his domino of loss. What we're going to be seeing Slivko do is now train up more queens, play very defensively, and he may want to try to consider roaches in order to take down these destructible rocks. We can see that the gas here at the natural has been taken, but this is only a 2-gas play so far, as Slivko is going to have to deal with some Cloaked Banshees. Now, Cloaked Banshees are normally not a problem, but right now Slivko has no indicator of going for an Evolution Chamber and has no indicator of going for tier 2. And if he does not have any of those two buildings, then he is going to be in a world of hurt, as cloaked units are impossible to hit unless you can detect them. There's that double evolution chamber now. Perhaps Slivko will force a drone to grow up and be a spore crawler, being able to see that one particular Banshee before the Banshee can destroy the entire mineral line. Alright, first Banshee is already out and underway. There it goes, heading across the map. Where is it going to try and strike is the next question. But as soon as that Banshee's hand is tipped, you're going to see Spore Crawlers coming in. Or perhaps Spore Crawlers are already coming in. 2 Spore Crawlers each. And I believe that is both in the main and at the third. So Slivko going for 2 Spore Crawlers at each of the main and the third. And not really engaging with that. We see that the Hellions are going to be in position. Are there actually enough Marines and other ground units to make this a devastating blow, as the Hellions now simply just run in? 2 drones have fallen, and more drones still falling as well. Units are getting taken down pretty much left and right. There goes some more drones, and beautifully played by IM's MVP to actually get 17 worker kills. That is a very good amount, and we are now sitting at 40. Wait a second, hold on. IM MVP was able to get 17 worker kills, so now we are at 45 to 58. Slivko still looking very strong here, as we're going to see some drones getting taken down in transit. Oh, this is going to be bad news here. A lot of drones will fall, and Slivko has really no follow-up or answer to this at all. You're going to see the drones just get destroyed here in just a moment. And now, where is that Spore Crawler? 1 Spore Crawler up against 2 Queens. And will the Banshees... Oh, no, the Banshees do not want to try to engage. They know that they will simply just get destroyed. And now coming back into the main instead in order to take down the Roach Warren. Hellions now looking to come back up in here. And the Hellions are able to get into a very nice position, minimizing their surface area and also forcing them to line up. The Hellions now look to torch some drones here, and down they go. Slivko playing absolutely beautifully. No, sorry, not Slivko. MVP is playing absolutely beautifully. And you can see so many workers have been taken down. And the longer walking distances do have much to do with it. 59 workers versus 27. All the Hellions will be destroyed. The Hellions down over, or the Banshees down over here look like they were taken down as well. Nope, still 2 Banshees in the air. Where are those Banshees? 1 Banshee here, perhaps another Banshee back at home, lying and ready to go. Third base now coming in from MVP. MVP now looking pretty happy at how much damage he was able to do. Income shows a very, very different story than what we saw in Game 1, as Slivko now is the one starving for resources and wanting to build a much larger army. Roach is trying to get away from those Banshees. The Banshees, however, have faster movement speed, able to finish off all of those Roaches, or at least a good amount of Roaches, as the Banshees just chase after those Roaches and they take more and more damage. Roach is now back on creep. They do move slightly faster, fast enough to actually get away from a Banshee, as we are now on 3 Banshees for IM MVP. MVP also now going into very strong mech play with Thor and Hellions. Now, one of the reasons why I like this particular style is that, one, the Hellions now get level 1 weapons upgrade, or actually, did they finish it? The Hellions get level 1 weapons upgrade and Blue Flame, which means that they can still 2-shot workers. Being able to 2-shot workers, very effective at shutting down mineral lines, as it takes 1 less shot, or perhaps one awry hit to make it go all south here in just a moment. There you go. But no Blue Flame yet, so some drones are actually staying alive longer than I thought. Down to 2 Hellions. The 2 Hellions will fall here and get cleaned up. But MVP once again dealing in a little bit more damage, and now up to 56 workers killed. We are now at 58 to 65. And if you realize that Over 50 workers were killed, and somehow Slivko is still in this game, only down 5 workers. It shows you how much of his own personal army he had to sacrifice in order to transition those larvae into drones. Alright, 4th base now coming in from Slivko. Slivko just looking absolutely greedy on this map. Meanwhile, MVP going up into a 4th and 5th base at the same time, morphing in double planetary fortresses, or sorry, single planetary fortress. And if this planetary fortress completes, Zerg is really not going to have any real way of trying to engage unless they go supermass units or go for a Zerg tier 3. MVP still with a 30 supply advantage. You can see the Banshees were able to force a cancellation on this building here, and now Slivko once again going to try and rebuild it. Roaches are upgraded 0-1. That is it. We are going into Aspire and also into Hive Tech. Perhaps Greater Spire will be coming in, but they will be going up against a fair number of starports. Actually, is there only one starport? Apparently, there is only one starport. Yeah, so only one starport here, really training up a fair number of Banshees, as now the Zerglings going to be able to catch sight of this one particular barracks. Infestors now making their way off to the north, and here comes the engagement, here comes the attack. Siege tanks sieging up just a little bit late, getting in more shots once again, and now you can see those siege tanks rolling back into position. Thors, 4 of them, with that level 1 weapons upgrade, dealing 66 damage per attack. Yeah, 66 damage per attack. Very effective. And it should be able to just destroy Slivko's expansion here before it gets up and running, forcing a cancellation and forcing some... Helion's now looking to come back here. Queens are in position. Siege tanks now finally bothering the siege. And they're going to turn around and simply destroy this army. Down it goes. And now also you're going to be seeing the Spore Crawler and some other units lost there as Slivko loses game 2 to IM's MVPs. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.